What you're describing feels less like a straight story and more like standing in a half-open garage door while a storm rolls in, trying to make sense of what tools you've got before everything gets soaked. There's urgency, fragments of history, and a mindset built around survival through mechanical knowledge. The idea is simple at its core. Assess what's known about the rig, compare notes with whoever else is around, and start turning wrenches before conditions get worse. In that kind of environment, hesitation costs more than effort. You're not just fixing a machine, you're trying to stay ahead of failure itself. The tone of it mirrors the kind of real-world problem-solving where experience matters more than perfect information. You don't wait for ideal conditions, you work with what's already failing and keep it moving long enough to matter. That mindset becomes the backbone of everything that follows, whether it's machines, people, or the pressure of time itself tightening around the situation like weather closing in on an open field. Early life, built on necessity and repair. The foundation of Derek's story comes from growing up in Minot, North Dakota, where working with broken things wasn't a hobby, it was normal life. On a farm, nothing stayed new for long, and replacement parts weren't always an option sitting on a store shelf nearby. If something broke, it had to be understood, taken apart, and put back together using whatever tools and knowledge were available. That environment builds a very specific kind of thinking, practical, patient, and focused on function over appearance. His father and grandfather were central to that education, not through formal lessons but through demonstration and expectation. Machines had to run, equipment had to work, and creativity filled the gaps where manuals fell short. This kind of upbringing doesn't just teach mechanics, it teaches responsibility for keeping systems alive. Over time, that mindset becomes second nature. Instead of seeing broken machines as failures, they become puzzles waiting for attention. That early exposure shaped how he approached everything later in life, especially when challenges became more complex and public, learning through grease and repetition. As he grew older, mechanical work wasn't something Derek studied in a classroom. It was something he lived through repetition, mistakes, and long hours in garages and shops. Welding, fabrication, engine repair, and troubleshooting became second nature not because they were easy, but because quitting wasn't part of the environment he came from. Every broken machine offered feedback, and every failure became part of the learning process. There was no shortcut for experience, only accumulation. Working in auto shops and managing small operations added structure to his raw ability, refining instinct into skill. The important part wasn't perfection, it was persistence. Even when systems fought back, rusted bolts, seized engines, stripped threads, there was always a method to follow, even if that method was messy. Over time, this builds confidence not in outcomes but in process. You stop expecting things to go smoothly and start expecting problems to be solvable if you stay with them long enough. That mindset becomes critical later when bigger risks appear, stability versus the pull of passion. At some point, practicality pushed him into corporate work, a world built on schedules, meetings, and predictable income. On paper, it made sense. Stability is comfortable, especially when compared to unpredictable shop work and uncertain projects. But that stability came with distance from what actually mattered to him: hands-on, mechanical problem-solving. Even while working in an office environment, the pull of the garage never really faded. After hours, weekends, and stolen moments became opportunities to return to engines, tools, and restoration work. That split life created tension between security and passion. One provided structure, the other provided meaning. Over time, the imbalance becomes harder to ignore. The more time spent away from mechanical work, the stronger the urge becomes to return to it fully. This is where many people stay stuck, balancing both worlds indefinitely. But in this case, the pressure eventually forces a decision. Stability is reliable, but it doesn't always satisfy the deeper drive to build and fix things that are beyond easy repair. First steps into sharing work online. The shift into creating content came gradually, starting around 2007, when filming simple repair projects became a way to document work rather than perform for an audience. Early videos were unpolished, with rough lighting, basic editing, and no real expectation of attention. The focus was the process itself, showing what it actually takes to bring a neglected machine back to life. There was no attempt at theatrics or polished presentation. Instead, the appeal came from honesty. People watching could see real struggle, real problem solving, and real outcomes without staging. That authenticity started to stand out in a growing sea of highly produced automotive content. It wasn't about showcasing perfection, it was about showing effort. Over time, those small uploads began attracting viewers who appreciated the straightforward approach. The camera became less of a performance tool and more of a window into the garage, where every seized bolt and failing engine told its own story of persistence. The breakthrough with a forgotten Camaro. The turning point came with a heavily neglected 1969 Camaro Z28 project that most would have walked away from without hesitation. Instead of treating it as a lost cause, it became a demonstration of patience and mechanical intuition. The vehicle wasn't just restored, it was revived through a process that highlighted problem-solving over replacement. Viewers responded strongly to the realism of it. There were no scripted moments or polished transitions, just a man working through obstacles one step at a time. That authenticity created a contrast with typical automotive content, which often focused on finished results rather than the messy middle. The Camaro project proved that there was an audience for raw, unfiltered restoration work. It wasn't just about cars, it was about the process of refusing to give up on something most people would consider beyond saving. That project became a reference point, showing that persistence and knowledge could outperform expensive tools or ideal conditions. Growth into a dedicated community. As more projects followed, the audience expanded from casual viewers to a dedicated community of automotive enthusiasts who valued the realism of the work being shown. The channel didn't rely on trends or gimmicks, it grew through consistency and trust. People began returning not just for finished results, but for the process itself, the uncertainty, the problem-solving, and the unpredictability of each new vehicle. Each project carried its own identity, shaped by whatever condition the machine was found in. That unpredictability became part of the appeal. Over time, the channel transformed from a side hobby into a recognized space for restoration content that didn't hide the difficulty of the work. The connection with viewers wasn't built on perfection but on shared appreciation for effort. That kind of growth is slower than viral success, but it tends to last longer because it's grounded in something more stable than attention. It's grounded in trust, choosing full commitment over stability. Eventually, balancing corporate work and content creation stopped being sustainable. The demand for new projects and the time required to produce them grew beyond what could be managed part-time. That forced a decision between maintaining a predictable career or fully committing to the unpredictable world of automotive content creation. Walking away from stability is never a light choice, but staying divided often leads to neither path being fully successful. Choosing the garage meant accepting uncertainty in exchange for creative control and personal fulfillment. Once the shift happened, everything accelerated. More time in the shop meant more projects, more content, and a deeper connection with the audience. The work became not just a passion project, but a full-time responsibility. That transition also meant accepting that income, workload, and pressure would no longer follow a predictable pattern. Instead, success would depend entirely on output, audience engagement, and the ability to keep finding vehicles worth saving. Relocating for time, space, and opportunity. The move from Minnesota to Tennessee wasn't just a lifestyle change, it was a strategic decision to reclaim time and improve working conditions. Long commutes and harsh winters limited productivity and interrupted the flow of projects. Tennessee offered more favorable conditions, milder weather, stronger automotive culture, and a central location within a larger motorsports region. That meant more consistent access to events, vehicles, and opportunities. For someone focused on restoration and racing content, that environment made a significant difference. Less time spent traveling meant more time spent building, filming, and refining projects. It also created better conditions for family life, which remained an important part of the overall picture. Relocation like this isn't just about geography, it's about optimizing environment to match goals. In this case, it allowed both creative output and personal balance to improve at the same time, reinforcing the decision to fully commit to the path already chosen. Racing and pushing machines beyond limits. Racing added another layer to the mechanical journey, shifting focus from restoration to performance under pressure. Events like drag racing and endurance-style competitions introduced a different kind of challenge, not just making vehicles run, but making them compete. Whether it was a modified ice cream truck or a high-performance Mustang, each entry represented experimentation and risk. Racing forces immediate feedback, either the machine performs or it fails. That environment sharpens mechanical understanding in ways restoration alone cannot. It also builds camaraderie within the racing community, where shared experience matters as much as competition. The transition into racing wasn't separate from the garage mindset, it was an extension of it. Instead of bringing dead machines back to life, the goal shifted toward pushing them beyond what they were originally designed to do. That evolution kept the work dynamic, preventing it from becoming repetitive and reinforcing the same core principle. Everything mechanical has limits, and part of the process is finding them. Roadworthy rescues and larger exposure. Working with larger platforms like MotorTrend introduced a new structure to the work, especially through projects that required completing restorations under time constraints. This added pressure changed the workflow, turning what was usually open-ended problem-solving into deadline-driven execution. It required balancing creativity with efficiency, ensuring that vehicles could be revived within production timelines. The format still aligned with the core philosophy of saving neglected machines, but now it reached a broader audience. Each episode became both entertainment and demonstration, showing how real mechanical problems are approached under pressure. The exposure also expanded recognition beyond the existing community, introducing the work to viewers who may not have been familiar with long-form restoration content. Despite the structured environment, the essence remained the same. Find a broken machine, understand what's wrong with it, and make it functional again using experience, tools, and persistence rather than shortcuts. Misunderstandings, community, and real-life stakes. With increased visibility came rumors, misunderstandings, and occasional real-world issues. Some stories circulated inaccurately, while others, like theft incidents involving valuable parts, were very real and required community support to resolve. These situations highlighted how connected the audience had become, turning viewers into active participants in the story rather than passive observers. The response from the community often helped recover losses or provide support during setbacks, reinforcing the idea that the work had grown beyond a personal project into something larger. At the same time, family remained a grounding force behind the scenes, with support systems playing a crucial role in managing both creative and operational demands. The balance between public attention and private life became more complex, but also more stable through shared involvement. That combination of community engagement and personal foundation helped sustain momentum even when challenges arose unexpectedly. The Foxbody Mustang and the final push against time. The Mustang project represents the kind of challenge that defines everything that came before it. A forgotten machine, extreme conditions, and a narrowing window of opportunity. Sitting idle for decades, frozen by time and neglect, it required immediate assessment and decisive action. From frozen components to deteriorated systems, every part of the vehicle presented uncertainty. The approach wasn't about perfection, it was about getting it functional before conditions made progress impossible. Heat, tools, improvisation, and experience all came into play as systems were revived one by one. Electrical issues, fuel system failures, and mechanical binding all demanded attention at the same time. With weather closing in, every decision carried weight. This is where the earlier lessons converge. Farm-built problem-solving, shop experience, corporate discipline, and years of hands-on trial and error. The goal is simple but demanding: get the engine to run, get the vehicle moving, and beat the storm before it locks everything in place.